Donetsk region is ready for an adequate response to threats, both military and man-made. This is today's statement of the regional head Pavel Kyrylenko. The readiness of cities for civil protection was checked region-wise. He says, "We continue work on the inspection and assessment of protective structures designed to shelter the civil people. Most of them are ready to receive them if necessary. We are working at making them not only safe but comfortable." In addition, we have developed and submitted to the State Emergency Service of Ukraine a plan of the evacuation for a special period. All these steps make us ready for any scenario of events. Pavel Kyrylenko, head of the Donetsk Regional State Administration, head of the Regional Civil Military Administration on Facebook. But at the same time, the pro-Russian media actively share completely different information. Referring to the American edition of Bloomberg, they write that the residents of Mariupol are not willing to fight for their city as part of Ukraine. Like an American journalist talked to the locals and now he made such conclusions. But if you follow the link indicated in the same propaganda articles and translate the real headlines of Bloomberg's publications, we will get a completely different position. Original title sounds as "Putin's troops wouldn't get cheers in this once pro-Russia city." This is a direct fact and a direct example of pure disinformation. In the article of a journalist who was in Mariupol, the material is called that Putin's troops won't be supported in the city, which was once pro-Russian. Now we see the same array of disinformation that was in 2014, when the facts are not just twisted, but when we are dealing with the outright lies. At the same time, no one in the democratic world believes the Kremlin propagandists, and such stuffing is not discussed at the highest level. The fact that Russia is trying to accuse Ukraine of provocations is the standard line of Russian propaganda, and we don't discuss this with our international partners because this is already understandable and absurd. Our international partners, both from the States and from all over the world, are very well aware of the situation on our borders. And here Russian propaganda cannot be accepted because we are united with our partners in understanding the situation. But since the new year, the tireless Russian media have been coming out with news stories about Ukraine and our military almost daily. In particular, several pro-Kremlin propaganda publications have been given disinformation for a week that the Ukrainian military is preparing a series of provocations in the territories of Donbass, temporarily not controlled by Kyiv, at the same time without any evidence. But the Russian Ministry of Defense regularly starts uploading videos on its YouTube channel about the transfer of Russian equipment to Belarus. They demonstrate that they are ready and not afraid to use force. This becomes an element of pressure. Everyone understands that the borders of Belarus are not far from Kyiv, that by showing the strengthening of its grouping there, Russia creates a threat from the north. It is beneficial for Russia to escalate this pressure. The Kremlin uses the concentration of troops near our borders primarily for the political blackmail of the West and pressure on Ukraine. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense explains that the tactical goal of the Russian Federation is to provoke an internal split in our society, fear and panic, and destabilize the internal situation. About the appearance in the media of various photos and alleged intelligence. Usually data from open sources is published, including satellite images, photos and video materials. Based on these, observers and journalists can make assessments of the current situation and make their own assumptions and forecasts of its development. Anna Maler, Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine on Facebook. The Ministry of Defense says that the data in the media is often nothing more than speculation, real intelligence data not published in the interests of the country's security. Therefore, now the most important thing of Ukrainians is to trust their own military and remain calm. Don't let the country aggressor press on you. Irina Kovalenko, UATV News.